So in my last video, we went over a pretty extensive overview of the Outpost system in Starfield, but one of the most interesting pieces of information that hasn't been touched on by developers has been the potential of your outposts getting attacked. Now, the Outpost system is clearly being built off of the building system from Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, and Fallout 4 had quite a lot of base defense built into the system. Your settlements could randomly be attacked. You could equip the residents of that settlement different weapons. You could place a bunch of different defenses like auto turrets and bunkers. But in Fallout 4, it was a pretty rudimentary system. It didn't happen too often, and it wasn't that interesting. But with everything of Starfield being upgraded from all of Bethesda's previous games, I think your outpost being attacked may play a pretty big part in the system as a whole. Now, one of the main things that spurred on this thought is because we got to see a military hab and a watchtower in the building options for the outpost in Starfield. And there wouldn't be defensive building pieces if there wasn't the possibility of your outpost being attacked. And with Todd Howard specifically mentioning that they're building Starfield as a game with more of an endgame so you can play it a lot longer, I think this is definitely a way they could go about doing this, because it seems like shipbuilding and outpost building are meant to be more endgame features that are very expensive, so you need to play a lot of the game, build up a lot of resources, and even research these different buildings to further progress and expand your outposts. And one of those pieces could be your outpost randomly getting attacked by different creatures or hostiles that are on that planet, or different factions that you're enemies with hunting down your different outposts no matter where they are to attack. Because keep in mind, since we're in a space game, they can not only attack from the ground, but they could fly in on ships and possibly use the ship weaponry to rain down missiles or lasers on your different outposts. And this could potentially mean that every outpost may need different defenses. And we don't even know what this military habitat would be, and watchtowers presumably are going to be these big towers that you could potentially even install different weapons into and assign a crewmate specifically to. So maybe you had a crewmate that has a really high ballistic skill, so then you give them a long range rifle and put them up in your watchtower, so if your outpost is attacked, you have a well-equipped defender. And with Bethesda putting so much work into overhauling the different combat systems of Starfield, I would be very surprised if attacks on your outposts weren't something in the game on launch. Because they could have ground assaults on your outposts where they could land in their ships, maybe use their ships' weapons on your outpost, send in waves of enemies to try to attack it, but then there could also be additional waves of more ships coming in that you're alerted to, and then maybe you get in your ship, go out to space, and counterattack the new ships coming in before they even get onto the planet. So now this could involve both ground combat at your actual outpost on the surface of the planet and ship-to-ship combat out in space. And there's just so many ways that this could add in a ton of additional content, especially for people who like outposts. Because who doesn't want to build up this massive outpost that basically turns into a colony and have that attacked by a massive group of pirates that you have to fight off, and maybe even spawns in some named boss enemies that you have to fight off that could drop unique items. And then depending on how intricate this becomes, these pirates could potentially bring in different creatures on their ships to help attack your outpost. Imagine there's some super dangerous creature that's very rare to find in the entirety of Starfield, and then your outpost gets attacked and the pirates have some of these creatures on their ships that they let loose on your outpost. That would just be so incredible of an event to happen. And even if this system isn't in Starfield and launch, which I very much think it will be, modders will surely add in a system like this very early on that will just add a ridiculous amount of new content and possibilities. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.